So this is a FastScout webinar here for our new FastScout web platform. My name is Peter Stowell. I'm the product manager of FastScout. So it should take about 45 minutes. I'll pause a bunch for questions, so feel free to kind of write into the Q&A as I go along, and I'll make sure to pause every 5 or 10 minutes or so and try to answer those. So hopefully you can all see my screen. So here I'm just pretending to be on the Villanova staff, just signed in here. Before I get started, I want to point out you can always click on your name at the top right, and a couple quick options here. We have a help or support documentation website. You can always click on here to jump to, and we have tons of guided walkthroughs, detailed explanations, everything, as well as a stats glossary. So we're going to jump into a little bit of the stats today, but I'm not going to go too deep. We actually have some other webinars coming up where we'll go deeper into the stats. But if you guys have questions on any of the kind of more advanced stats you see here, want to contextualize them at all, you can always click on the stats glossary and read through that. All right, so let's get started. So here, when you sign in, you'll be looking at your own team's page. So we'll here at the top, will be on my team, looking at my own dashboard. And so this is just a dashboard of stats that stays updated throughout the season. As new data comes in, we update this really right after every game. So you can see things like FastScout factors, kind of our version of 4 factors. We have all these different advanced stats. You can hover over each of them, and we'll kind of write out the whole name of it. And you can see how your team's doing offensively, defensively. Compare yourself to your conference average and even the D1 average. You'll notice we also have these rankings that are color-coded. So the rule is if you're in the top third of any stat in Division I, we'll highlight it in green. If you're in the bottom third, we'll highlight it in red. And if you're in the middle third, we'll highlight it in gray. So just an easy way to kind of contextualize where your team sits with any given stat. And another nice thing here is you can toggle between Division I rankings or conference rankings just by clicking there. So I should point out, everything on this page exists here. We, of course, have the totally separate Scout Builder, which we'll go through in more detail later, where you can customize everything and actually create your scouting reports. So this is just a page, since you're in FastScout anyway, to kind of stay updated throughout the year. Simple things like points per period or pace, the amount of possessions your team has per game. We have some more of our advanced stats down here. Now, if any of you guys don't see this in your account, you just need to make sure you get the package with our advanced stats. So anything I go through, if you guys don't see it in your account, just contact our sales team, your account manager, and they'll be happy to set you up with a trial and any of this stuff and explain it and get you upgraded to anything you're interested in. So here's our advanced stats down here, things like offensive rating, defensive rating, net rating, really nice, more advanced stats. And then at the bottom, we have a box score like you've all seen a million times. The nice thing about this box score is you can toggle between different views. If you want to see totals, it's that easy. Click on advanced stats, popping in here, or even per 40 stats. So nice opportunity to look at, player stats in a box score there. You also have the ability to toggle some tiles to graphs. So if you click here, you can see we're seeing the same data that we saw in the FastScout factors, and we can just toggle through each of these to see kind of a more graph form of each of these pieces of data. So one more thing worth going over quick on the dashboard here is you have these different options for customized splits. So you can click on last 5 to see more recent trends of what's going on. Wins versus losses. Now you'll see 2 rows of data, all your stats and wins versus losses, home versus away, and conference versus non-conference as well. So just a quick, easy way to kind of stay updated on how your team's doing over the course of the year on any of these different splits. Then you can jump to the schedule tab. So here, we'll see Villanova's schedule for the entire year last year. And so we have box score data for every game. So when Villanova played Penn earlier in the year, I can go ahead and click on the score to look at that box score. And we actually recently updated this page. It looks a lot prettier than it used to. So you can see the points per period. We have this cool game flow chart where each dot represents baskets being scored on either side. And I can even hover over each dot and it'll tell me exactly what happened and when. So cool way to, see how momentum might have shifted throughout the game, anything like that. And then down here at the bottom, we have the box score for the game itself. So just kind of print it out how you'd expect, but you can see there's some colors here. The colors mean players performing far above or below their season average. So in this game, for example, AJ had 14 rebounds. If I hover over it, you can see his season average is 9. So that's why we highlight it in orange. And then players that are below their season average, we highlight in blue. So Jordan here only had 1 rebound. He averaged 3 over the course of the year. So I'm going to pause quick for questions. I think I saw one come through, so let me go ahead and check on that. Oh, good question here. Will we be emailed a link for the recorded version of the Zoom? We're definitely recording it. I think we can definitely do that. I'll check with our head of our support team, but that shouldn't be a problem at all. We can definitely email that out. I know we've posted some of these in the past on YouTube. We might post this one on YouTube as well. We can make sure anyone who wants a recording of this will be able to get one. Absolutely. All right, great question there. So let's jump here to the play-by-play. So for all these games, we also have the play-by-play. So as I can click here, you can see the play-by-play for both teams, and we even give you some options to kind of dive in deeper. You can filter by a segment of the game, first half or second half. For women's, of course, you can filter by quarter. You can filter by team if I just want to see Villanova stats or Pens. And then best of all, I can filter by events. So if I click events here, maybe I just want to see when every turnover happened, click apply, and boom, it filters just to turnover. So really quick, easy way to kind of see what happened throughout the game. Can be especially helpful as you're watching film. If you want to dive in, when did Villanova turn the ball over here in the second half? You can jump right to that data immediately. All right, looks like we had another quick question come in. Let me check on that. Awesome, yeah, so we'll make sure to get a recording to anyone who wants it. All right, so back in the schedule tab, the core part of this workflow is obviously in the course of the season, you have your next game coming up. And so what teams will do is go ahead and click on that team that they're playing next. So, if we're playing Penn next, I can click on Penn itself. And now I'm looking at that same dashboard I saw before, but with all the Penn stats. So you can look at this for any team in all of NCAA, Division I, Division II, and Division III. So one way is to, click on the team name as we saw in that schedule area. Alternatively, you can just click on opponents up here. And then if you click on all teams, you'll see all teams across all of NCAA. So even organized by conference, a nice searching functionality here. I can just start typing in Michigan. Any team with Michigan will pop up. And then you can also look at any D2 or D3 teams. Every team's in here with their logos, their colors, automated stats. So that's all working great now. So every NCAA team has access to all this. All right, so let's jump back to my team here and go through some of the other tabs. Another nice update we made recently was to the roster page. So if I click here, looking at Villanova's roster, I have a new option to look at 2 players per row instead of just 1. And I can even sort by different things. If I want to sort by points per game, now I'm seeing Villanova's players in order by their points per game. And our most recent update is a new player page. So now I can click on any player name wherever I see it. It could be on the roster page, back on the dashboard page inside of a box score. And when I click on that, I jump straight to a player page focused on any given player. So I can look at their basic stats and advanced stats across all these different splits. I can jump to a game log here and see Sadiq's game log throughout the entire season last year, again, with links to the team and the box score for that game. And we even have a new career tab where I can jump into here. And as this loads, you'll be able to see Sadiq's stats across all of the seasons that he's played here in NCAA. So he's played 2 seasons for Villanova. But if you have a senior, you'll see 4 seasons there. So nice new feature. Everyone has access to these player pages. We'll be adding even more over time. We'll keep you guys updated on that. But there's a lot of really cool stuff we can do with these player pages. But just want to point that out as one of our newest features here in the last couple weeks. All right, looks like we got a couple more questions coming through. Let me check on those. Can you save as PDF and share via your team's communication platform? Absolutely. So on all these pages, you'll always see a print button here on the top right. So when you print, every browser is a little bit different. I'm in Chrome here, and we generally recommend using Chrome. Let me jump back to the dashboard page here just to show you guys how this works on this page. As I click print, I think you guys actually might not be able to see it, unfortunately, just because of the way the screen sharing works. But it just shows a little print dialog, but then you can also save as a PDF from there. So just like kind of in any browser, clicking that print button, you just save it as a PDF, and then you can email it around, or if you have a different platform you want to put it in, you just do that. And that applies also in the Scout Builder as well. So just click that print button, and sorry you can't see it. I think it's just a limitation of the screen sharing. But on my screen, a little modal pops up where I can save something as a PDF. Great question here. Will you be adding the shot chart to the player pages? Absolutely. So some of you guys probably already know we do have shot charts, and those are inside Scout Builder right now, and we're going to go through those in more detail. We are 100% going to be adding those to the player page. That's on our list. We're also going to be adding some more advanced stats and plus minus and lineup stats for players to the player page as well. So you can expect that this summer or early fall, but we'll for sure have that, in time for the next season here. Another question here, could you get the total numbers versus the averages for the individual roster like you could on the first page of stats? So that is also something we can absolutely add to the roster page. We've been hearing that more and more. Inside of Scout Builder itself, you can do that right now, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. But that's another enhancement that we've heard from a few coaches now that we can be adding to the roster and the player pages. I know some coaches kind of prefer looking at totals versus averages, and some coaches even like a mix of the two. So we can support all that. All right, great questions. All right, so I think I hit on everything I wanted to kind of in the my team and opponents area. So let's jump to really the core part of FastScout. So I jump here to the Scouts tab. Here exists all the scouting reports I've created. No limit on how many you guys create. We'll go through kind of the creation process here in a second. I can create a new one from scratch by clicking here, or jump into a scout I've previously created just by clicking on any scout. So let's jump into this Marquette scouting report. So this is Scout Builder. For those who haven't seen it, we kind of consider it like Google Docs, but for basketball coaches. For anyone that used our old software, this is much improved. Of course, here on the web, so the first thing I should point out is everything just saves automatically. There's no fast share button. There's nothing you need to click to, view it in one tab and create the scout in the other. Our old FastScout Classic software has that scout tab and the preview tab. Everything here is just like Google Docs. As you click it, as you type things, it just shows up on the page. Everything's dynamic where I can just move it around and resizes automatically. So everything's a lot simpler to use than the old software, and everything just saves automatically here. So I'm going to scroll through this scout really quick so you guys can get kind of a good general sense of all the different things you can do and the customization options from, personnel tiles up here, which I'll go through in a little more detail in a second. Box scores, of course. A lot of those stuff we saw on that first page, the FastScout factors, those leaders tiles where I can say, show me their top scores or the best free throw shooters or three-point shooters, anything like that, to advanced stats and clutch stats. So let me pause there for a second. I don't want to go too fast. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to write in. And next I'm going to kind of go through all the different customization options that you can do inside of Scout Builder itself. Great question here. When making changes to a scout, I make mistakes sometimes. Will there be an undo button? Yes, we are actively working on that. I think we'll actually just add it here to the top and just kind of like Google Docs, a little back arrow that just allows you to undo your last several actions. So more to come on that, but that's absolutely on our list here for this summer. All right, so let's jump into this Marcus Howard tile to show you guys all the customization options you have. So here on any tile, you can always click on the three dots menu on the top right, bunch of options in here. Right now we're gonna go into settings. So first of all, you can of course change the player you're looking at. You can add or remove any info that fills in automatically, things like the position, height, and weight. You can even add custom text or info for anything that we don't have automated. Here's where you add or remove any stats. So a bunch of stats we have available, but any that we don't, you can always type in custom stats. I'll create little columns for that. You can even look at different stat types here, averages or per 40, change your rounding. And then here's where you toggle between averages and totals. So it's super easy. Just click on any of these stats and you can see as it gets darkened, it becomes a total. And then I can even drag around any of these stats to change the order any of them are in. So really easy to make all these changes. I can go to the games tab as well and add as many splits as I want. Things like last 5, you can even change that to last 10, just like that. Everything's super easy to do. You can add custom splits or even previous games. Again, I'm pretending I'm a coach on Villanova. I played Marquette a couple times this year. So if I want to pull in stats from those games, I can just check those buttons as well. So everything's super simple there. As I make any changes, it'll update the tile in real time. One thing I should point out is all these changes that you make, you only have to decide and save them once. And then of course you save templates and everything just builds automatically moving forward. So I'm not gonna go super into detail of kind of the template creation and updating process here today. We can definitely do that in other webinars here in the future. But it's just important to point out, like, once you make the decisions on what you want, that's all saved and everything will just build automatically as you create new scouts versus new teams there in the future. All right, so let's talk about a couple other things on these personnel tiles. Up here, you can see a bunch of buttons. This is how you add more text tiles, custom tables. You can even add custom images. And then here we have a new ability to add shot charts. So that's what you're seeing over here on the right. If you click this button, up will pop in a shot chart of that player. And I'll talk a little bit more about shot charts and how to totally customize them later, but this is a nice new feature we have where you can actually add these shot charts into tiles themselves. All right. One other key reason we, of course, built this new platform here on the web is to add video integration and mobile integration. So let's talk about that really quick, and then I'll answer some of the questions I see coming in. All right, so on every tile, whether it's a personnel tile, box score, or whatever, you can always see a video icon here on the top left. If you click on this, up will pop our video page, and then you have a couple options here. When you click add video, you can either add it from your computer. So, you know, any video you've ever gone from anywhere, if you've saved it locally on your computer, just click from computer here, and up will pop up any of those videos and you can add them automatically right into here. But now we actually have an official partnership with Synergy. We've had a lot of coaches taking advantage of. So if you click from Synergy, up will pop your Synergy editor, but kind of in FastScout form. So whatever you guys have saved in your Synergy edits and clips will show up here. Any changes you make will show up here in real time as well. And then I can just click on any of these edits and jump into my clips. A lot of you Synergy users will recognize all these different columns here at the top. If you have any tags, those will come in and out points will come in as well. You can even filter by results if I just want to see, you know, made 3-pointers. And then you can just check the videos you want. So if I want these 2 videos of Sadiq, I just click done. And then when I add them, boom, they pop in immediately. So this saves coaches tons of time. There's no more, you know, downloading and re-uploading and moving between different platforms. Where we have an official partnership with Synergy where we're just linked straight into all their data and we can pull in those videos and then they show up in FastScout immediately. All right, let me pause for questions and then we'll jump to the mobile app next. All right, so I think a couple of these I answered as we were going through. If there's a conference opponent and we play them twice, is there a way to make a column of game 1? Absolutely. So I think I showed you that in the personnel tiles, but that's absolutely doable. Is there an option to have total stats automated in the personnel tiles for the season and not just averages or per 40? Yes, absolutely. So just to jump in here to review kind of both these things, I can kind of knock them both out. So if I'm Villanova, I played Marquette. For any previous games I want to pull in against that team, I can just check there and then that game's going to pop in. And then to look at totals, I can go down here. And when I mark that as a total, I'll save so you guys can see. You can see it changed Marcus Howard's, all of his stats to totals there. Good question on shot charts. I will talk about that here in 5 or 10 minutes as we go through that in more detail. So promise to answer that question. How many clips can you add? Unlimited. We are not having any limits on storage for you guys. So the videos can be any length and you can add as many as you want. All right, and yeah, if you guys ever have trouble with video playing, I mean, the first thing, of course, to look out for is, you know, having good Wi-Fi or good cellular. As we jump to the phone, I'll show you also how you can download videos, and that can, especially if you don't have good service, you can download videos ahead of time, and that can make anything load faster. With any individual issues, we're happy to, you know, get our support team on with you guys and figure out anything specific to a specific team. All right, so shot charts are one of those advanced features. So if you're not seeing the shot charts button on personnel tiles, you'll need to talk to our sales team. We're happy to give you guys a demo and a trial and show you how to get those shot charts there on personnel tiles. But yeah, everyone can have access to everything you're seeing here on the web. All your players can have access to, and I'll show that here on the phone in a second. All right, really good questions here. We have really good attendance today, so we're getting a lot of really good questions. Let me jump to the phone to show you guys, and that'll answer some of the questions that are coming in. So now you should be able to see my phone here on the left side of the screen. So I've sent a bunch of scouts down to my players on the phone. I'll show you exactly how you can pick and choose what scouts go to whom. But if I click on this Marquette Golden Eagle scout, now I'm seeing the exact same scouting report in the same order as I built it on the web on the phone. So I can click on Marcus Howard, and here I'm seeing all those stats that I've added, seeing the notes I put in, that shot chart looking really nice on the phone, and then best of all, those videos underneath. And you can just tap on any video and click play to start playing. We even have a slow-mo option, a fast-mo option. You can even click play all, and we go into kind of this full screen view. Let me scroll through this first video so you don't have to watch the whole thing, but the second this first video ends, the second video just begins. So you don't have to, click on every video individually. You can just click that play all, and it'll go through each of these separate clips and just play them all in a big playlist. All right, so let's talk about downloading any videos. So they all just stream automatically. But if you're heading to the bus or the plane, you won't have service or Wi-Fi, you can download any individual video just by clicking on it, and you'll see this little download icon here at the top right. So I download that, and boom, you can see that downloads really quick. So now, I could not be connected to service and I could watch any video. But if you have a bunch of videos, you probably don't want to click on each one individually. So that's why back on the main screen of the Scout, we have this button. You can click on this and you'll notice it downloads all the videos inside of the entire Scout. So that's another nice option we have for you guys as well. All right. So let's jump back into the scouting report here and just kind of go through the rest of the tiles. And then I'll jump back to the phone to show it how it all lays out. So we got a box score down here. Again, your box score can be totally customized. One other thing I should point out really quick, jumping to the games, if I just want to look at conference games, it's easy as clicking conference. Sometimes we have coaches that, want to say all games, that maybe throw out a couple of the early season games for whatever reason. You can easily do that too, just by customizing, unchecking any box, click save, and the data will change with, whatever parameters you've selected. So leaders tiles, things like top scorers, top 3-point shooters, leaders tiles just live right over here. So I can add new ones, free throw shooters, top rebounders, anything I want. Tons of customization options in there. Clutch stats is worth going over in a little more detail since we have all that play-by-play data. We know who's on the court and when, and we can tell who's on the court in clutch situations. So by default, we define clutch as less than 5 minutes in the game and the score within 5 points, but you can change that to whatever you want. So if you click here and jump to settings, you can see there's the 5 minutes, score within 5 points. But if I want, I can, widen this a little. Maybe I want to say anything that happens with less than 10 minutes and the score within 10 points, a reasonably close game here in the second half. Click save. And as this loads, you'll see it come in with, more data, more stats. Obviously, more things happen in those parameters I just set. And so you can see all that updates. And now you can see all these players' stats in these situations. All right, let's talk about lineup stats real quick, and then I'll pause again for questions. So lineup stats, super useful. It's again powered by our play-by-play data. Since we know who's on the court and when, we can tell how different lineups perform when they're on the floor together. So these are Marquette's most played lineups over the course of the year, sorted by minutes played. And then you can see all these different advanced stats. Net rating is probably the most important one. It's how much they're either outscoring or being outscored by their opponents per 100 possessions. So if I click here and go to settings, I can change this like any other tile. Maybe I want to look at 3-man lineups or individual player lineups. I can do whatever I want, click save, and boom, you can see it update in real time really quick. So really useful to see, what are my opponent's most effective lineups and how are they effective? Are they shooting well? Are they rebounding? Are they turning the ball over, etc.? Another thing I want to point out, and it's especially useful, I think, for lineup stats, is you can always look at your own team's data instead of your opponent. Again, if I click here and go to settings, I'm Marquette, right? I'm Villanova. I'm playing Marquette. But if I want to look at my own team's data, I could just click here, jump to Villanova, click save, and now this will load with all my own team stats. So there's a lot more to see on this workflow. You can even create entire scouting reports that are all about your own team, especially in the off season. We see a lot of teams doing this, that we call them self scouts, where every stat's about your own team. But you can also kind of mix and match on a scouting report. Sometimes look at your opponent, sometimes look at yourself. And obviously for lineup stats, really useful to look at yourself, because this is kind of one of the main things a coach, of course, has real control over, is, you know, who plays together on the court at the same time. All right, let me go ahead and check for some questions here. Is there an iPad app for players? Absolutely. Yeah, so we are live on iPhone, iPad, and even Android. So if any players have Android phones, that's working great. We have tons of teams using iPads. The Lakers in particular have been using the iPad a lot this year. So it's been really cool to see, you know, LeBron and Anthony Davis accessing their iPad as their scouting reports come through. So the iPad's working great. All right, some more questions coming in here. When you make adjustments to the scout by clicking those three dots, it'll auto-save to the original template you've created. So good question. It auto-saves to this specific template, but then to update any template, you end up just clicking this button here. Sorry, let me move some of my windows around. And then this is a brand new template. But if I was updating an existing template, you'd see a little button right here that says update existing template. Click that, click save, and boom, you're done. It's that easy. All right, looks like I answered that question. You can, of course, look at your own team's lineup stats. For lineup stats, can you do it based on number of possessions played instead of minutes played? That is something we have the data for, so we're working on that. That's a nice enhancement that we're looking to bring this summer. So good question there. And then, is the shot chart feature only available if you have the advanced scout feature? So yeah, the shot charts and the advanced stats are actually in one of our packages, so they kind of come together. Really popular package we've had a lot of teams upgrading to. So those are together in what we call the Fast Scout Plus package. So contact your account manager. We're happy to set you guys up with that, give you a demo, and talk more about that with you. All right, great questions here. Let's talk a little bit more about shot charts. So you saw, you know, those shot charts I added to a individual personnel tile, but you can also add shot charts kind of by themselves and make them a lot bigger like we're seeing here. So it's just a shot charts tile on the left. Click here, they pop right in. So this is one on Marcus Howard. I can see throughout his stats throughout the course of the season. So these are our hex shot charts. I'm a big fan of these, where the size of every hex is the frequency from every location, and then the color of the hex is the efficiency from every location. So you can see Marcus, obviously a great three-point shooter, a little less strong around the rim, but pretty good in the mid-range. But like anything else, I can totally customize this. If I jump back into the settings, I can change my player. Here's our three different types that I'll go through: a hex, a zone, a make and miss. And then we have these options to show different labels on it. You can also jump to the games tab. I'm looking at all games, but if I just want to look at conference or home or losses but throw a couple out, whatever you guys can think of, you can absolutely do. Click save, everything updates in real time there. So those are the hex shot charts. Another option are the zone shot charts, so a little more kind of standard what you guys have probably seen for years now, where I'm just cutting the court kind of into different zones, and I can see how a player's doing from all those zones. So for Aneem here are his stats throughout the year. And these, again, are for individual players, but I can, of course, look at team stats. So here, Marquette all season, I'm looking again at that zone shot chart, seeing how they shot over the course of the year. And then finally, I can look at any individual game. So this is a good way to show our third type of shot chart, these make/miss shot charts, where, of course, every green circle is a make and a red X is a miss. And I can see, you know, Marquette shot chart versus Villanova, you know, the first time they played. So we see coaches pulling these in a lot. You know, if you played a team before in the year, you want to pull in their last game. It's as easy as, again, jumping back into the settings, clicking make/miss, and just picking that individual game when they played there on January 4th. You can see that come right in. All right, so that's shot charts. And now let's go to one of our newest additional features, which is Fast Draw integration inside of Fast Scout. So we even have a separate plays tab where this content all lives that I'll show you guys here after. But since we're in Scout Builder, I wanted to show you kind of how you can actually integrate any of these play diagrams into Fast Scout Builder itself. So this is just this tile here on the left called Plays. Here, I'll click back in my settings to show you guys kind of more options here. So on the left, you'll see the list of all of your plays. So if you've ever created any plays inside of FastDraw, the second you click Fast Share, all of those plays now move here onto the cloud on the web, and you can see them with all the same data in the same order, everything just like you'd expect it in from FastDraw, but now inside of FastScout. So I can pick and choose plays to add to my Scout here. I can add multiple if I want to, and then I can even add video to these plays. Again, just like you saw earlier, from your computer or from Synergy. Add these videos. So you can see this play, I happen to have added 2 videos. Click save, and boom, it pops right into my Scout. And again, total customization where you can just drag things around, reorder them, do kind of anything you want on these plays. You can even change, the amount of frames per row just as a different layout option. So totally, unique ways that coaches can customize however they want these plays to show up. But the point of doing this, of course, is to distribute again to the phone. So let me jump back to my mobile app. So I'm gonna just kind of scroll through the Scout. Again, we're in that same Scout we were looking at earlier, all those same tiles in the same order. I can click on the shot chart itself. I can even zoom in. Everything's really slick, looks pretty nice. Go back out, and then here's those play diagrams you're talking about. So here's that zone offense one, seeing all those frames, as we call it, in the same order, and then those videos immediately underneath. So this is huge for coaches to start creating, these digital virtual playbooks, especially in the off season, and you can pick and choose what you want to actually include in a Scout. And of course, with the associated video, and then with our Synergy integration, this has saved coaches a ton of time. I want to talk about Synergy a little bit more. So we're really excited to continue our partnership with them. We had a great first year. We've seen over 700,000 Synergy clips integrated into FastScout over the course of this past season. So it's been wildly successful, and we're just going to keep going with Synergy. We're going to do a ton more integrations with them. We actually have a joint webinar scheduled with Synergy for next week, next Wednesday at this time at 1 p.m. Central Time, where Synergy will kind of go through the Max Editor and all the great updates they've been making, and we'll show you guys kind of the integration I've kind of been referencing here, and even some extra things you can do, and some more things we'll be adding throughout the summer into the fall. But it's been a really great partnership with Synergy, and we'd love for all you guys to come to our joint webinar next week, and we'll keep doing these. We plan really to do webinars every Wednesday, kind of moving forward throughout the spring and summer, and we can talk more about kind of what we're doing with Synergy here in the future. All right, let me pause again for questions. Great question here. It leads perfectly into the thing I'm about to go into in a couple minutes. Can I send video playbooks to the mobile app without tying to a Scout? Absolutely. This is just one option. We're all about giving you guys flexibility. So I'll show you exactly how you do that here in a couple minutes. All right, one other cool feature I wanted to show you guys here on Scout Builder is called Presenter Mode. So you'll see up here at the top, I have this little play button. So what this does is it enters the Scout, but kind of in a different mode that's more about presenting the Scout to the team. So we've had a lot of teams using this, if they're in the film room, back when you're allowed to actually be in the same room as your players. We saw a lot of teams using this. We're looking at the exact same scouting report we saw before, but now looking at one tile at a time to kind of just take over the screen. So I can click on, Marcus Howard here. So now I'm seeing all those stats, notes, and shot charts that I popped into the main Scout. Then I can just jump right to the video. So I can either click on any of these video icons, or I can just click tab. So we have a bunch of these different keyboard shortcuts that a lot of coaches are used to, that they've used, in other programs like Synergy or Sports Code Huddle. We have all those same keyboard shortcuts. Space bar, for example, will just start playing the video back. Press tab to jump to the next one. We even have slow-mo functionality with these arrows. And you can just jump through your entire Scout just like this. So now, I'm on Aneem here, looking at his stats and notes, jump to his video, just jump through all these pretty quick. And you can just go through the entire scouting report like this. So coaches have really liked this, especially, when they're in the big film room with the team, instead of having to do all these crazy workflows where they're, creating something in PowerPoint from Synergy or Huddle and they're getting the FastScout notes and stats in there. We think we can solve that for you guys, especially with the Synergy and all the video integration, and just kind of have everything here. So really, really nice, easy way to go through the Scout there. All right. So I think I hit on pretty much everything here inside Scout Builder. There's tons I'm not gonna have time to go over, but back in the design tab, you have all these different themes and layout options. Of course, you can change your colors, just tons of customization options. I think we're actually really unique in this way with the amount of customization we have. We really can support however you wanna lay out your Scouts. again, and we're happy to jump on individually with any of you. Every coaching staff is different. So we have, default templates you can start from, but every team ends up changing them massively, which is great. That's why we built such a flexible platform. So please reach out to your account manager or support team, and we're happy to sit down with you one-on-one and get your scout perfect. As everyone has a little more time now in this extended off season, it's a great time to kind of revisit your scouting reports, and we're happy to help you lay them out however best fits your workflows. All right, so click done here. Let's jump to the plays tab. So this kind of goes back to the earlier question. Can you send can you send plays or playbooks with video to the mobile app outside of the Scout? Absolutely. So here in the plays tab, we're kind of seeing what we saw inside the scouting report. All those fast draw plays and playbooks come in here. All the things you're used to being able to do in fast draw, like filtering by a season, by the team, by the series, even searching for keywords, you can of course do here on the web. I can see the play diagram on the right. I can print it out. And then of course I can add video again from my computer or from Synergy. One thing I want to point out, just to save you guys time, if you add video to a play from here, that video will show up automatically if you added it as well inside of Scout Builder, and vice versa. We found that coaches, once they add a video to a play, they really want it to stick to that play. So you don't need to re-add videos, whether you're in the plays tab or inside of Scout Builder. Those two things will stay in sync. If you add videos or remove videos on one, it'll add or remove from the other as well. So the nice thing here is super easy to send to mobile. The quickest way to send any individual play, you can click on this little mobile glyph, and up will pop all your coaches and players. And this reminds me, I should jump back for a second here after this and show you how to do this on the Scouts as well, but it's very similar. You can click select all to send to everyone, or you can pick and choose individuals. If you just want to send this play to your coaches, these are just some of my coworkers here, you can just click all those, or you can pick and choose players to send it to. Second, I click save there. It sends a push notification to everyone's phone that this play diagram is now available for you, and they can just tap on that and jump straight into the app. So let me, jump really quick back into Scouts to show you the exact same process. Again, if I wanted to send the Scout down, maybe this UCF one I was making, click here, send all, boom. It's that easy. Now it's on everyone's phone immediately, and they all just got a push notification. And then again, you can, pick and choose. We do have some coaches, that create separate Scouts just for their coaches, and then separate Scouts just for their players. So this is exactly where you kind of pick and choose who sees what. All right. So jumping back to the plays tab, another nice option here is you can multi-select. If I click mobile access here on the top, I can select all if I want to send everything down, or, select a bunch of them. If I want to send these 4, manage access, and then, click select all. Now all of those 4 plays will go to all my players and coaches just like that. So super easy to kind of pick and choose who has what as well. All right, so let's jump to the phone again, and then I will pause again for questions. All right, so on the phone, you can see we have these 4 tabs. We talked about the Scouts tab, so now let's jump into the Plays tab. Here are the plays I've sent down to my phone, updated in real time. Again, I have those same options where I can filter by different things if I need to up here. I can search and sort here at the top right. If you have a lot of plays, that's super useful to search or sort by them. And then I can click on any play, and up will load up the play diagram, scroll through it, and then any video I attached will be there at the bottom as well. All right, looks like we had a bunch of questions come in, so give me a second to check here on that. Do clips have to be through Synergy, or can you use Hudl Sports Tech? You can use whatever you want. We have, of course, the official Synergy integration. So with Synergy, it comes in super easily. There's no downloading and re-uploading. So we love when coaches use Synergy. It's probably the single easiest, fastest way to get things in, but we work with everything. And it doesn't matter how it's saved. It's an MOV, MP4, MKV. We've seen all different types of file types and file sizes. So if you've worked through things on Hudl or really any other third-party software, just save it locally to your computer like you guys are used to, and then you can upload it into FastScout, and that works great. All right, next question. So because this is web-based, you can get FastScout on all computers and iPads. Yeah, it's just inside a web browser. You just log in, and so works on Windows and Mac, of course. So anyone can access it. One thing I want to point out is if you grant your players access to a Scout, you can also grant them access on their computer if you want to, and then they could even sign in here and see a scouting report. We make it in read-only mode, so they can't edit anything, of course, but they could just see, you know, the paper scouting report, but you have to grant access to them if you want to. And we have a native mobile app on iPad. So just kind of like this iPhone app you're seeing. I happen not have an iPad with me, but just, you know, laid out a little bit better for the iPad. So that's working great too. All right, good question here on using a shot chart for a self scout. I won't have time to go through that specifically, but that is absolutely possible. So we'll reach out to that coach specifically to show you exactly how to do that. But you absolutely can do what you're asking. All right. Yeah, there's so many great questions. We have massive attendance today. I'm sorry I can't dive deep into everyone's, and I'm even skipping over some of the features here of FastScout. Try to respect your guys' time. We'll have a lot more of these moving forward, but we're also, you know, keeping a list of all these questions, and we will absolutely reach out to individual coaches if there's anything I can't quite hit on as we're going through here. All right, let's talk about playbooks really quick. So anyone who's used FastDraw, which I think is pretty much everyone, knows, you know, you can have individual plays or collate plays together into these big playbooks. So we also bring in playbooks here into FastScout. So let me just jump on this to load it up. All right, so this is just, you know, a test one I made here for this demo, but however you guys create your playbooks, you know, with table of contents, titles, anything you do and customize there in FastDraw will show up here in FastScout. So I can scroll through this just like any normal PDF and view everything. And then I can add videos, again, just by clicking, you know, add video from your computer or from Synergy. And then here on the phone, we have this dedicated playbooks tab. And then boom, if I click on this, click on it again, I can see that nice playbook, however you guys laid it out, shows up in the exact same way on the phone. So I know Coach just spent a lot of time creating these customized playbooks, and that's working great now on the mobile app as well. All right, one more tab. So let's jump to the videos tab. So the point of this tab is it's really just the quickest way to get video down to your players immediately. You can always, you know, add videos we've seen in the other places inside of a scouting report or attach it to a play. But sometimes you just have some miscellaneous video you want to get down to your players, whether it's, you know, a full game clip or a little like a practice plan or some off-season workouts you want your players to do. Especially, you know, in this quarantine, we've seen people be really creative with this tab where you can, you know, just add any video you want. We don't care what it is. Again, from your computer or from Synergy, all the same things you saw on the earlier pages where you can just click here to add and send to specific players or select multiple videos at once to get it down. And then if I jump back to my phone, here's my final tab here on the right, this videos tab. So I tap on that, and now I'm seeing all those same videos in the same order that I sent it down, and the players can just play them back in line right there. So a great way just to send video down. We're really proud of the mobile app, and we've seen video usage just skyrocket. So we wanted to give you guys just a dedicated tab for video, and we've seen really creative uses of this for coaches as well. All right, so there's obviously a ton here. I'm sure there's some things I forgot or didn't go into as much detail. We'll absolutely keep having webinars, and some of these webinars might kind of dive deeper into things like more of the advanced stats or the faster integration or definitely the Synergy integration. When we have our co-webinar again a week from today at this same time with Synergy, we'll go really deep in the Synergy integration, even give you guys kind of a sneak preview of what's to come here with Synergy. I'm gonna pause for one more minute. Feel free to write in any other questions you can think of, and I can respond, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up. So you have a question on pricing here. Just reach out to your account manager and they'll be able to walk you through that on our exact pricing, and happy to give you guys a demo and talk through it in more detail as well, but we'll let the account managers take care of that. One more thing I just thought of, I want to show you guys, you can also track usage of the mobile app. You know, as you send things to the mobile app, you can make sure your players are actually viewing the content that you send. And we'll be having some more updates to this to add some more features throughout the summer. But if I go here, click on that 3 dots menu, you'll see all over, click on mobile usage, up will pop a list of your players. So I'm the only one in this account for now, so you're just seeing me, but for normal team, you'd see a list of all your players here. And then if they've looked at any of the tiles on mobile, so if they've opened up the tile, we'll mark that as open. So I've opened up 15 out of the 18 of the tiles. And then if they watch at least 80% of a video, we'll mark that video as watched. So I haven't done my job and watched any of my videos for the Scout yet. But again, if they watch 80%, and we can even tell if they try to cheat, if they try to fast forward through it or scrub through it, we can even tell if they do that. So they had to have, actually let it play for at least 80% of the video, and then we'll mark that video as watched as well. All right, looks like one more question came in. Yeah, good question here about kind of customizing video. I'll just read it. It's a little hard to kind of describe my own words. Has there been any thought to adding custom start time to upload a video? If you have a 15-minute long video, rather than uploading in parts, having the ability to start it at a certain time. So absolutely, we're looking into that. We are doing that already with Synergy Video with in and out points. So we know we're capable of it, but we know different teams kind of have different video workflows. Some kind of prefer having these shorter videos cut into different clips, and you can add all those separately. And then we have that play all button I showed you guys earlier. But yeah, if you have these longer videos, it'd definitely be a useful feature to kind of jump to a specific part of it. So we can keep you updated on that, but that's absolutely something that we're investigating. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming. We had really, really good attendance today. A lot of great questions. It was a lot of fun kind of walking you guys through everything. Please, please, please reach out to us individually, to your account manager, to support. I'm happy to talk with any of you individually. We love to get feedback, good or bad. I want to hear everything. That's the best and most important part of my job, especially this time of year. Super useful to hear it, as we have, a good runway of the summer and the fall to keep improving the product for you guys to make as good as possible come when the season resumes. So please don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out with anything you're thinking, and we're happy to connect with anyone here one-on-one. All right. Thank you all for your time. Have a good day.